been talking about Israel as led by Samuel. And last week, Israel asked for a king. God told Samuel, you know, they haven't rejected you. They've rejected me. I'm their king, and they don't want me for their king anymore. So you will appoint a king. There came a time when God told Samuel, you know what, tomorrow a man is going to come visit you. And that man is the one I want you to anoint to be the king of Israel. And this is what all I want you to do in preparation. Make a feast and be all ready so that he can come to the feast with you and just be ready for it. Meanwhile, in a different part of Israel, I don't have my tribes marked on my map, I need to do that. In Benjamin, the tribe of Benjamin, some donkeys wandered off. And nobody knew where they went. So the man who owned them was named Kish, and Kish's son, Saul, took a servant and went out looking for their donkeys. That would be kind of like your car wandering off. Because, rolling down the hill where you can't see it and you don't know where it went to. Because that was their major mode of transportation, was their donkeys. And when our cars wander off, we call the police and they go looking for a car thief. Donkeys can do it on their own. And so the Saul went out looking for the donkeys, and he and his servant looked for 3 days. And finally they got discouraged and they decided, you know what, Daddy's probably more worried about me than the donkeys now, because we've been gone for 3 days. And his servant said, you know what, before we give up, there is a prophet in this town, and let's go ask him. Maybe he knows. They say that everything he says comes true, and he knows what's going on. Maybe he can tell us where your donkeys are. And Saul said, well, it's not polite to go to a prophet unless we have a gift to give him, and I don't have anything. We don't even have any bread left. And the servant said, well, I've got a piece of silver, so I'll give it to him. They went to the town. Some people directed them to Samuel's house. And Samuel came out of the house just as Saul and his servant was walking up, and Samuel said, oh, hi, your donkeys are fine. They went back home, and now your dad's worried about you, but don't worry about it. We're fixing to have supper. I've got a feast all prepared for you, and you need to come with me. And I can just imagine how flabbergasted Saul was. Just, huh? But he went with Samuel, and they went to the feast. Samuel set Saul up at the head of the table, the most important seat in the house. He brought the best cut of meat to Saul to eat. And they had a nice feast with all the important people from that community. And then Saul went home with Samuel and spent the night, because it was late by then. And he and his servant got up in the morning to leave. And Samuel said, send your servant on, I need to talk to you. So the servant went on, and Samuel told Saul, you are going to be the leader of Israel. You are going to fight the Philistines and deliver Israel from their slavery to the Philistines. You are the one that God has chosen, and to prove it, when you leave here, after you're a little bit down the road, you're going to run into 3 men. One of them's going to have 3 baby goats, one of them's going to have 3 loaves of bread, and one of them's going to have a bottle of wine. And the guy with the bread's going to offer you 2 loaves of bread. You take that so you have food to go home on. And then a little further down the road, you're going to run across some people who are prophesying. And you will prophesy too when you meet those people.
We just wanted to see our donkeys.
Yeah. Saul's probably quite flabbergasted at this point. He and his servant go down the road. They meet the guys with the goats and the wine and the bread, and they go further down the road. They meet people who are prophesying, and Saul begins to prophesy, just like God had said. The Spirit of God came on him, and he began to speak on God's behalf. Eventually, they did make it home, and Saul's uncle came out and said, "What took you so long? Where were you?" Saul said, "We were looking for the donkeys. We went to Samuel. Samuel said they were home, so we came home." He did not tell him, or evidently the servant, about Samuel anointing him to be the king of Israel. So we now know who is going to be the king. We now know what the next phase, who is going to be involved in the next phase of Israel's history. So let's sing our song.
If we lost 2 donkeys, we should sing 90 seconds. Might have 90 seconds of your time.
This is true, yeah.
John doesn't think so.
I am a C, I am a C-H, I am a C-H-R-I-S-T-I-A-N, and I have C-H-R-I-S-T in my H-E-A-R-T, and I will L-I-V-E live eternally. I am a C, I am a C-H, I am a C-H-R-I-S-T-I-A-N, and I have